Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.
This is Reggae Interviews here with the 2023 Grammy-winning Kabaka Pyramid. 3 shows, 3 days, Germany, Belgium and the UK. Yeah. How are you doing today, sir?
Giving thanks, great, feeling good. Glad to be here. Another Reggae Jam tonight, so good vibes as usual.
Of course. Now, I saw you 2 weeks ago tear up Reggae Sumfest lyrically. You totally tore it up that night.
Yeah, give thanks. Yeah, it was a nice night for us. We had a big band, 11 piece. We just try to represent for reggae music on the Saturday night, Early morning performance, but it was good vibes. Good. Yeah, man. Yeah. Felt good. And
there was a speech that you made saying that you're one of the hardest touring men in Jamaica, just like Sean Paul.
Yeah, for real. I mean, Sean always working, but I feel like this year has been a very big year for us, and we kind of feel like we're carrying a lot of the touring energy going, especially here in Europe too. The tour that we did in the spring, everybody, all the promoters were telling us, this is a very important thing to see so much people coming out to these shows. And because obviously since the pandemic, like reggae has been on the decline, Afrobeats has been on the rise. That's why everybody's talking. So, it was good to really see that and see the people come out in full force. And yeah, it's a good vibe.
Good vibe, yeah. And I think the people also came out at Sumfest as well. So there was some good attendances over the all nights at Sumfest as well, which is a good thing for Jamaica.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah.
On that performance at Sumfest, it seemed like you had a lot on your mind. There was a lot that you wanted to say to the crowd. Did you feel that you got your message across?
Yeah, I think I did. When I see, how people were talking after the show, I feel like I got what I needed to get off my chest, certain way. Okay. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I think there was a small pocket in the show where I kind of aired out some stuff, but for the most part, it was really just about having a good performance, representing, showing how reggae music is presented. We had the horns and everything with the band, and it was my first time doing a live show with horns, with a horn section. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just wanted to culminate all the work we've been doing over the years and show people like, yeah, this Grammy thing is not like it just happened out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's work that we've been putting in over the years, and I wanted to show the growth in myself as a performer too. You know what I mean? But yeah, there was some negative talk, little bit after the whole Grammy thing, and I don't really like to deal with the negativity, but I just wanted to address certain things musically,
Get it off your chest.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, talking about the journey, I mean, we've seen you perform at little pop-ups in Kingston. We've seen you do club shows in the UK, the Brixtons. We've seen you, I remember your first time I saw you perform was at Rebel Salute when you came out in the red suit 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah. So, I think that of all the performances, though, as I said, there was that segment 2 weeks ago at Sumfest where you were militant, but rightly so.
Yeah, man, we have to burn the fire, because that's one of the things people been complaining about. So there's not that fiery energy in the music anymore. But I've always felt like I've spoken against the right topics that matter. People want us to talk about things that, not only have jeopardized reggae music and people's ability to tour over the years, but also things that, at the end of the day, like how much is talking about them kind of things changing anything.
True.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so my thing was I really want to address issues like, poverty and corruption in government, and things that have a real impact on society, or things that's really affecting people's day-to-day lives in Jamaica. You know what I mean? Talking about things like child abuse, child molestation. These are things that almost every family in Jamaica has some kind of history of that, and that trauma passes down, you know what I mean? And we have a culture where people don't get to go and do therapy and them kind of thing. That's not big in Jamaica, so a lot of these things are just suppressed. Women don't feel safe going to the police about certain things, because these things are not even addressed properly. Women being raped and all of them things, even legally, like the way the laws are structured, is not benefiting the women who are the victims of this. So it's them thing that I kind of talk about, and a lot of the other things you're seeing in society now, and you know, things evolving and changing. They're results of some of these trauma that people going through. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the angle where I'm trying to take the conversation into a broader conversation instead of just bun this and bun that and ray and thing. You know what I mean? We know what's happening in the world. We're seeing where an entire generation of artists couldn't tour because them a bonfire upon certain thing. You know what I talk about? And it's like people are say about the Ras sell out for money. Like, this is what I do for a living. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, cut off everything I'm doing so that I can just be stuck in Jamaica singing songs for the dance, you know, woman underneath and this and that and them. That's what you don't want me to do. So that's the kind of argument where I just don't really understand what people expect. And then there's this whole thing about not being a real Rasta if you're not burning out certain things. Like as if His Majesty was here right now, his top agenda item would be talking about, you know what I mean?
True.
People's sexuality and all of them kind of thing. Like, come on, you know what I mean? So my thing is, me just try to look on the bigger picture and address things in a mature way, you know, and still represent in a diplomatic way. 'Cause that's what I learned from His Majesty. You know, he's always diplomatic with everything he's doing, and yeah, so that's kind of the vibe and where my headspace is at. But at the end of the day, reggae music is so important to the world, and we can't do things that are going to jeopardize reggae music, because the message where we put in the music is important for the world. We've seen revolutions happening in countries because of our music and the ideas and the word sound we put in the music. So we can't jeopardize it just for hype and just forget street credibility and all of them kind of thing. It don't make no sense.
No. I mean, I think that on that night, we saw the smoother side of Kabaka, where you introduced Jamari Morgan, Got to Be Grateful, and also Tifra as well. So I think for me, it was a really well-balanced performance, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens over the next few days as well, over in Europe and in the UK as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, give thanks. Definitely.
Now, the 30th of September, 2022, was the date that the Kalling was released. Double album, it's on vinyl, and what a strong album. I mean, from the intro, Mystic Man, that one just blew me away.
Yeah, give thanks. Yeah, that's one of the things I took from the response from the public of the album. Say, you can listen it from start to finish. And that was one thing we wanted. You know, we look at albums like, you know, Till Shile or like The Real Thing, Sizzler, you know, Stephen Marley, Revelation Part 1, as albums where you just put in and you don't skip anything unless you pull up something. You know what I mean? You not skip, you listen every song, and every song is quality. So, you know, I have a big up Damien for the production. You know what I mean? Him really knock it out the park, produce every song. You know, I have some co-production credits on it as well for a couple songs we did with the band. And yeah, Mystic Man, one of my personal favorites. It kind of, you know, obviously Peter has a huge influence on my career and my life as a Rasta youth and as an artist. And, you know, obviously we're bringing a little bit of that hip-hop energy with the drums and the flow and all of that. So, you know, the album have a wide variety of stuff, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, for young and old.
Exactly. And I quite like the little sampling of people like Eddie Fitzroy, who I think is one of our, you know, musical greats that probably doesn't really get that recognition. Yeah. So I think that I liked what you did there.
Yeah, for sure. That was a beat that Gang put together, and he had that was one of the first songs we recorded, probably the first song I recorded vocals for the album.
Okay.
I was still in Jamaica at the time, and pandemic, everything was locked down. So that's when I started writing that song. And yeah, you know, the Eddie Fitzroy sample Wicked, or him flip it, you know. And it's interesting because the original song is like major chords, when, you know, he flip it to minor chords for our song and just give it a different kind of swing and energy. So yeah, we sample Junior Biles with Faded Away, you know what I mean, enough sampling and enough keeping the energy of the greats them going through, you know.
Yeah. And then of course we had the big all-star lineup on the Kalling, Red, Gold and Green as well. So yeah, it's a very well put together album. Big collabs.
Yeah, the only thing when you do big collabs is like it's hard to get the dub plate them.
I'm sure we can work a way out.
The sound man them under pressure. you have to go call some big, you know what I mean? You have to go get the big man them for voice to dub them. But you know, it's a joy still. It's a joy. It's a real, you know, big up to Steve, to Gang, to Bujo for giving the strength on the album. Obviously Jamiri, Tifa, Black Amai, and Swaley, Natalia, you know. Just a bunch of top features and top vocalists all over the project. Proto Jesse, of course. I was more thinking about the hooks, but yeah, you know what I mean? The man, they give you some verses, and it's always a joy for do songs with my bridging them, and we forward up the journey with, you know?
I mean, I think for me personally, I'm kind of looking forward to what the next 12 months brings, because I feel that there's going to be projects from people like Black Amai, Answelly. I think even Jamari Morgan might be doing something with Gong as well. I don't know why, but I just get that feeling.
Yeah, man, for sure. A lot of work's going on. Obviously, I don't want to preempt anything and promise projects, but definitely a lot of music is being worked on. And you know, Gang is in studio. He's a workaholic. You know what I mean?
We know that.
We're glad to see him dropping his own songs again now too. So, you know, we can look forward to a little momentum with that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, look, I feel that you've achieved so much, and in your Grammy acceptance speech, there was this line that you used in there. We're just some kids from Kingston. Yeah. And that really resonated with me, because, you know, we followed your journey from probably like the very early parts, and we've seen, you know, your team, your band develop. So, you know, the support that you have from Dwayne and Abby is, you know, without them, I don't think that you'd be where you are today.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. We have such a great team, you know, a humble team, loyal team, you know, trustworthy. Is things that, you know, you can't take these things for granted in music, you know what I mean? But also business minded and smart, and you know, we're able to figure out our way through this industry that a lot of the doors weren't really open for us. You know, people tend to close doors behind them in our genre, you know what I mean? And you know, as some young youths who didn't really grow up around any big studios or anything like that, or have any elder artists really guiding us, or elder producers, we just kind of figured out our way through this thing. And we have like peers who we rise up with, obviously with Proto Chronics, the whole movement, you know what I mean? And that was just, it was just a nice era. And as I say, you know, the Grammy is a culmination of all that work that we put in together, you know. And I thought about that, because at the Grammy, you know, when we were watching that ceremony and all the other awardees and all the acceptance speeches, I was realizing this is a real, just wide community. Yes. You know what I mean? And I just felt like we were really representing where we're from, and, you know, and representing our culture. You know what I mean? So that was the whole essence behind that part, for real.
Definitely. Musically, what direction is Kabaka Pyramid taking moving forwards now?
I mean, we can go anywhere from here, but you know, there's so many different parts of the music. I'm working on, you know, some stuff right now that kind of has this soulful hip-hoppy vibe, you know what I mean? But there's I also have a lot of rhythm ideas with my band, you know, roots reggae stuff that I would love to do, like possibly a band album. You know, I'm sure Gang is ready to go in studio again and just, you know, see what we have and what we can build on, you know. So yeah, it's just there are many different options. I want to do some production as well for other artists too. You know what I mean? You know, we dropped the Victory Rock Rhythm 2021, so you know, maybe another juggling, maybe individual stuff. You know, so yeah, it's a lot of avenues. Yeah, for sure.
Now, there's two people that I've spoken to this year, Uncle Beres and Rashid, and there was a song between Kabaka, I think the Unruly one, and Uncle Beres.
Yeah, I mean, a long time we did it, still a good little while now, so I kind of waiting on them to say when them want to drop it. But you know, that would be a nice thing for get some, you know, momentum, especially at Jamaica buzzing, you know, for sure, you know, and the diaspora too. So yeah, I'd love for that song come out. Yeah.
We're definitely looking forward to that, you know that.
Yeah, man, definitely, for sure. And I have a bunch of other collabs too. I have this nice reggae song I did with Jadi from Zionite Kings. And you know, I featured on an album they put out, a posthumous album for Akibeka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm on that one, on a track as well. So, you know, a lot of collabs are out there. You know, I just recorded a couple collabs in my hotel room like yesterday.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So we're always working, you know what I mean? A lot of music there to come out too. Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, I want to give thanks for your time today.
Reggae interviews. Word sound power.